Hello everyone, and welcome back to our exploration of history. Today we're delving into the deeply disturbing truth of the transatlantic slave trade. Let's take a moment to imagine being torn away from your home, forced onto a ship with hundreds of others, and subjected to weeks of unimaginable suffering across the Atlantic. This was the horrific reality for millions of Africans between the 16th and 19th centuries. This content may trigger some people, so this is a warning. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. Now, let's begin. The transatlantic slave trade was fueled by greed, racism, and a complete disregard for human life. To truly grasp the horrors, let's turn to some powerful images. François-Auguste Billard's painting, The Slave Trade, 1840, depicts the dehumanizing slave markets where Africans were treated as mere objects to be bought and sold. The illustration of The Brooks Slave Ship, 1788, reveals the cramped and inhumane conditions endured during the Middle Passage, the voyage across the Atlantic. And while the artist remains unknown, Slaves Landing in Virginia captures the bleak arrival in the Americas, where a life of cruelty awaited. The trade followed a triangular route. Goods traveled from Europe to Africa. Enslaved Africans were shipped to the Americas, and raw materials were then returned to Europe. This system was driven solely by profit. Ships were filled to capacity on each leg of the journey, making the trade incredibly lucrative. The demand for labor, particularly on sugar plantations, was immense due to the decline in indigenous populations ravaged by European diseases. Conditions on these ships were nothing short of horrific. Enslaved Africans were packed tightly together with barely any space to move, leading to widespread disease and appalling death rates. It's estimated that 2 million people died during the Middle Passage alone. Upon arrival, many were sent to seasoning camps, where they endured further hardship and brutal treatment. The consequences were devastating. Africa suffered immense population loss, social unrest, and economic instability. The sheer brutality of the trade eventually ignited abolition movements, but its legacy continues to cast a long shadow over us today. Understanding this dark period is essential if we are to build a fairer and more just future for everyone. Thank you for joining me, and please stay tuned for more insights into our shared history.